Hello and welcome to Inside Irons.
I do not believe that.
Yeah, it was.
Can't keep it out. Winston Reid is the man.
I use it to scare my children with.
Taken away by Wicks. Oh, it's glorious.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Irons, fresh off the back of two 1-0 back-to-back wins. We've got a fantastic episode here for you today. Firstly, let's introduce the big man. Always believe in your soul. Carlton Cole is back.
What's that, Ginge?
Look, Carlton, we've got a genuine West Ham legend of the modern era right here with us today at the Leytonstone Tavern in East London. 188 Premier League games over 2 spells. What a man. Welcome to Inside Irons, the Ginge Pele, James Collins.
Thank you.
The best. Carlton, just tell everyone what the Ginge Pele is actually like.
Oh, it's like this guy. I've shared a changing room with him for how long?
A long time, mate. Too long.
Too long?
Too long.
We know each other inside out. I gave him the idea to grow his beard out as well.
Did
you? He doesn't actually remember it. I remember he was looking in the mirror one time, in the training ground, and he was like, and he's obviously his head was bald, and then he was like looking at his beard. He's thinking, I'm not sure if I can grow it. And I was like, bro, it looks brilliant. But then he ended up shaving it off. Yeah, he ended up shaving it off, and then later on, then he started growing it again.
Mate, James, I was on your Wikipedia page and you don't have a beard on it.
No,
I was
it's strange.
It doesn't look right.
No, I don't look right with hair, so it was the best thing that happened in falling out, to be fair.
But when I first came to the club, he had a whole bunch of hair on his head.
Yeah.
And then it just went.
I played for West Ham for 11 years, that's what I felt out.
But yeah, other than that, the guy's a top man, ledge, and I'm sure we've got some stories today to tell.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to see some pictures of you as you've changed your looks down the years. But do you know what? Actually, what better way to start this episode with James Collins than to have a look at your best bits from your time at West Ham?
Lovely.
Shot on the turn, it's in. It's James Collins and equalises for West Ham. Oh, good header, good goal. James Collins has scored for West Ham.
Can you describe me in one word?
Ginger.
Towards Collins, and Collins powers home the header. Well, finally one counts for West Ham. Collins who heads it down, real scramble, a shout for handball as well. Collins scores! West Ham
That's ledge. Wow.
Look at that.
Have you done one like that for me? That looks unreal.
making me upset, you know?
Mate, that's unreal.
Fantastic stuff. What a career you've had for West Ham. We'll be talking about that and through the course of the show. We'll also be looking back on our win against Sheffield United, and we'll be looking ahead to the Villa game this Monday night. But recently, we beat Sheffield United at Bramall Lane, the first London team in 14 years to do that. Let's have a look at the highlights of that spectacular win against Sheffield United.
Masuaku spun away from Baldock, and he's got some space now to attack towards the edge of the penalty area, defended by United. It's slipped in towards Kufal, he drives in a shot. Ramsdale makes a good save. Why didn't Bowen take it on himself, James?
Yeah, I think you're right there. Corfelli, he's just a little bit too wide, does everything right, goes across the goalie, but feels someone's got to follow it in.
Yeah. Tries to bring it under control. David Moyes quick to that, picks up the ball, says to Souček, take the throw in quickly. Fornals receives down the left-hand side of the Sheffield United penalty area. Digs out across. Allo with the header. It's going to drop for Souček, who should have put it goal-bound, and he slided it wide off the instep. That should have been 1-0 West Ham.
It should have been 1-0. The best chance of the game. It's a great header by Haller, and Souček is on his right foot.
Is he offside? Would he have
No,
been
he's
offside?
not.
He timed it perfectly, didn't he?
Great run.
Berger again, out to Baldock on the right-hand side. 12 yards up from the byline. Now it's Basham, better cross. Looking for the header from McBurney. Good save from Fabianski, because it was drifting towards the postage stamp, and the Polish stopper had to get across and palm it out of play. Aaron Ramsdale inside his own 6-yard box, and then left-footed he jabs it clear over the halfway line. 10 minutes gone, second half now. Picked out of the air by Cresswell as Bowen rolls it to Fornals, chops onto his right boot, tries a shot. It's Haller! Absolute blaster, and he drives it into the top corner, and West Ham United take the lead. Sebastian Haller, so composed, little backlift, no chance for Ramsdale, into the postage stamp, and it's Sheffield United 0, West Ham United 1.
What a strike. Little bit of interchangement on the box. It just comes to Haller. What a strike. It's actually Ramsdale gets a fingertip to it as well. But you've hit the nail on the head. The backlift is excellent. No backlift at all.
Bowen with it. Back tracking comes Baldock. Bowen's done really well just to ride the challenge. He filters it into the centre circle, turn further to the left, and Declan Rice by Ogbonna. Rice edge of the 18-yard box, finds Masuaku up on attack. It's Haller with a chance, and it was driven into his path, and he puts his head in his hands as he side foots it wide. Still 1-0 West Ham. 220 appearances now for Aaron Cresswell. Steps back, puts his left arm up in the air. Here it comes into the 6-yard box. Rice with the header onto the crossbar and out of play for a goal kick.
Gets up, he just can't get over it, can he?
Perfect, sat for him neatly, but it's been won back this time by Sheffield United, and that's McBurney invited to run onto it into the penalty area. Still with it, McBurney, and he hits the crossbar, and it bounces to safety. Should have been the equaliser, is what the Sheffield United fans will think. And McBurney with a great opportunity. Martin Atkinson looks at his watch. West Ham leading by a goal to 0. Sebastian Haller with the only strike of the game here at Bramall Lane. And as Fabianski clears it, West Ham United have secured their second away win of the campaign.
So James, you just saw it. That was the second of 2 back-to-back 1-0 wins against Sheffield United. That's 14 points from our first 9 games. And I was just chatting to you then. It sounds like you seem to have enjoyed the point against Spurs away the most. Your local boozer on the bar celebrating when that Lanzini winner went in.
I think everyone enjoyed that one the most. Yeah, I was in my local pub back where I live, and I was in Bishop Stortford, and quite a few Tottenham fans about it. I was in the pub, and I think we got the 3-1, and then I went, oh yeah, you watch now. Second one went, third one, I'm up on the bar. Quite the Guinness up on the bar, yeah. So that was a good day, yeah.
A great day.
But look, consistency now. We're beating these teams below us. We're now up to 8th, I think it is. How have you found us this season?
I think it's been excellent. Just saying, off air there, I think David Moyes needs massive credit. I think we look a lot more organised. I think the back four, we don't look like conceding too many goals. I think Angelo's been phenomenal the last couple of weeks, if not all season. And I just feel like the boys know, they got their jobs, and if they don't do it, I know David Moyes, the manager, they won't play, and that seems to be what's happening.
Was you worried when Antonio went down injured?
Yeah, I think everyone was.
Yeah.
Like Harry was when he came back from the first lockdown, and the goals he scored, got us into a great position. Stayed in the league comfortably in the end, and like I say, when he went down, everyone was feeling the worst. But like you say, credit to the boys, they've rallied round, and there's goals coming, and Haller looks like he's back in form. So it's good to see.
Fantastic, Coley, we've got consistency. Can't you feel it?
Yeah, because what it was. Remember when I first said, because I was worried when obviously Antonio went down, and then I said Seb has to try and adapt now, and hopefully, he went away on his international break. With Ivory Coast.
Scored in his debut.
Scored in his debut for
scored the winner.
National team, yeah. So he's come back with a bit of confidence, and he's shown that he can actually play in these sort of games. And I was actually worried about the Sheffield United game, because we don't usually pick up the points we're supposed to.
Had more chances as well. I think Haller's probably got to score another one. Declan disappointed with his header, so it could have been a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
So I felt that we was in the driver's seat the whole game, and especially going away from home as well. Sometimes West Ham have been known for not
doing the business against these teams.
but performing against the bigger teams. Like, so I'm quite happy that we've been performing against the bigger teams, and now we're getting results from the small ones.
Yeah, and James as well, Sky Man of the match, Angelo Ogbonna, a former centre-back pairing with yourself. He's just come on leaps and bounds this season, hasn't he?
I mentioned him just a second ago. I think he's been superb. He seems to have taken on the role of he's the main man sort of thing now. He's the main centre-back there, and he's performing consistently well. Not that he wasn't before, but I think now he's well, I used to play with Angelo. Sometimes you worried if he was totally concentrating sometimes when he was playing the game, but he seems to have switched that, and he's turned into he always was a good centre half, but he's performing week in, week out. He's one of the best in the league at the minute.
Do you think that's because like he doesn't have like someone like you now, so now he has to know that he has to step up to the plate? Because I felt like when I was playing, until like I was made like probably the main man, then I had that sense of responsibility. And I didn't have to depend on somebody else next to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it made me step up to the plate even more. And now you can see that he's like leading the.
I think it's spot on. I think it's spot. He's like I said, he's the main man. He's just he always played next to me, which he probably looks at me. I'd been there so long as being the main man, and now obviously I've moved on, and he's taken that on himself. And I think you can see it in his performances. I know Angelo very well. He loves defending, loves doing the old school sort of defending side of it, but he can play as well, which is the perfect combination.
Yeah, rewinding the clock back past the Sheffield United game, Fulham, we get a 91st minute winner. Yeah. They miss a 98th minute penalty. Can we have a quick word of what do you think on Andrea? Was it Lookman's penalty there? What did you make of that?
Oh man,
I'm sacking him. I swear to God, if I'm manager, I see all the Fulham players on the floor. I know. Brilliant for us. I see all the Fulham players. Imagine I was in that team with him.
Mate. I swear, if I was on the floor, you'd probably come up to me and kick me. What are you doing?
I wouldn't have none of the boys picking him up off the floor. Don't worry about that. Mate, I'd have him at the wall in the change room.
Well, like, if you were in defence that day for West Ham, it looks like Fabianski had a word with him as some of the West Ham
that side of it, you're buzzing. I can't believe he's tried it. Honestly,
it's actually true. James will not tolerate that. We'll go back in the changing room, and if I'd done that, we'll be having a proper terror. We'll have a terror.
You'd have nothing. You'd have no comeback. You can't come back from that. Fulham fighting for every point. Scotty Parker, he's
exactly
every point, and one of the young lads goes and does that.
It's nonsense. No, it is. I was actually upset, but I was happy for us at the same time. But I was upset for Scott because I know the type of character he is, and he had to come out and defend him as well afterwards. So that took a lot of.
And if you're going to do that, don't do it in the 98th minute when you're 1-0 down.
Don't do it ever.
Yeah, remarkable. Ginge, you played a bit under Moisey in your first spell. I wondered, how responsible is he for this turnaround? Do you feel like he's bringing a lot of this consistency with him?
Yeah, I think he is. Like I said before, I think one thing with the gaffer, you get you organised. He spends a lot of time on set plays. He was always questionable, defending set plays, which we look a lot more solid now. And I say there's just a bit more responsibility. I know for a fact that if you're not doing what he says, you're not going to play. That doesn't matter what player you are. If you're not running around, if you're not doing what he says or what he's put down on the training pitch, you're not going to play. And I think sometimes, I know I certainly was, the fear of being dropped. Make sure you do your job, and the boys are doing it tremendously well at that.
Yeah, and was it Darren Randolph was on here the other week saying that when David Moyes took over, we had we were running the least of teams in the Premier League, and now we've completely flipped that on Moyes. So fitness and measurement and analytics are a big part of his game. It sounds like.
Yeah. I think that I see what he's. You can see where he's coming from because. Like when he did take over, probably the fitness levels wasn't the same as what he wanted it to be, or how he actually left it before Pellegrini. So then he's come back in and he's thinking, do you know what? I need to get these boys up to speed. And he needed the personnel and the players had to buy into it too. Now they've bought into it. You can see how fit they are. You can see how much passion and drive they have going forward with the ball, and how much dignity they're using to defend now. So the defending part is the biggest part.
Even in training, if the intensity weren't right, he always used to say, you got. I used to believe it as well. You got to train how you play.
Yeah.
And if he's in training, he sees it as slack and it's not up to a level that he expects, he'll stop it and have a right go. Which I think you need to do to perform at that level all the time.
It was like Alan Kirbishley used to say to me, right?
He never told that. He never told it.
Wait, listen. So basically, I used to think I was a player back in the day, right? Yeah. So he goes to me one day, he goes, listen, Coley, listen, I've noticed you're taking the foot off the gas in training. Like, I know you're going to be playing on the weekend, but you're going to need to train to the level that you play at. And I was, what do you mean? He goes, listen, Coley, you're not that good, yeah, to switch it on and switch it off.
To turn it on and off.
You ain't got that. You haven't got it, Coley. So train how you play, please, because it'll just make everyone's life
I
easier.
could never do it though. If I was like pulling out of tackles and not training how I would I'd play on a Saturday, I'd be useless on a Saturday. Because I always used to train flat out. Not
but I didn't
go down sometimes. But I did it out.
There's sometimes, this geezer, I've got the ball, I'm thinking, oh no, I've set him up here, he's coming to steamroll me. So I'll go and I'll be like, you know what, I'll just jump out of the way because I know he's coming in hard. So I was like, you know what, I don't want that
just
smoke.
Getting him on his toes.
I don't want that smoke.
Just getting him ready for a Saturday.
Speaking of strikers, David Moyes, he's got a tough decision on his hands because Mikel Antonio's on his way back, but Haller's putting the goals in now.
Well, that's what it is. You want competition for places, and that's what you're supposed to do. You've got to have a team that complements ech other and pushes and drives each other. And I think now you'll see that Haller is going to have the bit between his teeth. He's not going to want to lose that spot now. And we'll see what happens this weekend. Whether he gets on the score sheet again, and that will give actually Antonio's some time. So there's no pressure. So when he comes back from injury, he can integrate himself back into the squad quietly and not just put all the onus and pressure on him. So at least Haller's done his part.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Now they haven't got to rush Mikel back. Haller's doing well. You know, everyone knows Mikel struggled a little bit with his hamstrings in the last couple of years. So you know, Haller's doing the job at the minute, and you know, give Mikel a couple more weeks off.
Oh, it's good times. I'll tell you what's good as well. Looking at the Premier League table, let's have a look at it. Here we go, Premier League table. Look at that, 8th place above the likes of Man United, Arsenal and Manchester City. Good times. And up next, we have one of your old clubs, James, Aston Villa. How do you see this one going? Obviously, Villa started well. Getting a bit patchy of late, but they're still hanging about.
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, I can see a West Ham win. I think without Ross Barkley the weekend, looks like he might be out for a while for Villa. I think they could be a different team. Obviously, Jack Grealish is on fire at the minute. We'll have to be a bit wary of him, but certainly a game we'll be looking to get 3 points from.
Yeah, Carlton, Aston Villa up next. I think you've gotten the last 3 West Ham results you predicted right.
Have I?
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
So we're looking to you to tell us what's going to happen against Aston Villa.
Here we go again.
Oh, the eyes are rolling back.
I'm feeling a 2-1 victory.
I was going 2-1.
2-1.
I'm feeling a 2-1 victory.
Yeah?
Yes. That's what my senses are telling me.
Get yourself down the bookies. And there we go, there's Aston Villa's form over the last 5 games. They lost 2-1 at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. A win against Arsenal 3-0, but as I say, losses against Southampton and Leeds United. But you look at ours, even that 2-1 defeat away to Liverpool, James, that was still a good performance.
Yeah, it was. I'm sure the boys felt, very unlucky after that game. I thought they performed very well. It's Liverpool. They're probably the greatest team in the country for the last 2 years, and it was going to be a tough game. But I know David Moyes and the players, they would have come out of that, with confidence. I know it's a loss, but you go to somewhere like, or get a point against a team like Liverpool, or do well against them. You get the confidence from it. So I know it's a loss, but they play very well. Yeah,
and Cole, you're going with 2-1, but when you look back on those last 5 performances, we have every right to come into this game with bags of confidence.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm actually looking at Aston Villa's. Aston Villa's not.
Man, they're leaky, aren't they?
They're very leaky. So I'm look. Apart from the 3-0 v Arsenal and the 1-0 v Leicester, the small games like the ones we're talking about now that we've not been winning back in the day, or like even from last season, we're winning them now. So I'll expect the same energy for this game as well. So that's why I'm saying we definitely should be in for a victory, because it doesn't show that they've been beating the same level teams.
The boys will probably look at that and think, they concede goals. Yeah. With Jack Grealish in their team, you've always got to be on your toes the other end. You can't go into it overconfident, because
but we know that, and we know that we're going to have to put a rain check on Grealish, because we've got to make sure that he can't dominate the game like he can do.
What would I do to him 5 minutes in, Colin?
Would you smash him?
Mate, probably
Of course you would.
up here.
Nah,
2 feet up there.
it's too quick. I wouldn't catch you.
But no, he would definitely know he was in the game from the start.
And 2 clean sheets in a row over our last 2 games. And a lot of credit for that must go to our number 1, our next guest, Lukasz Fabianski.
Great ball, he's offside, great save. Fabianski stretched out, made the stop.
We had a tough start to the season, and I think we put ourselves in a good positions. And then going into games against teams like that, you always hope that you're gonna add good amount of points, and that's what we really wanted to do. And at the same time, I think in both games we were the team that was dominant, that was creating more chances, that I think deserved to win both of them games. I think we can all be really pleased with the way the things are working at the moment, and at the same time the manager is very demanding of the group, so we will continue probably to do our best. I believe from the moment when we changed the system, I think it helped us a lot, because we became a lot more solid defensively, and in this system as well we managed to for some reason to be even more fluent going forward. So I think this system suits us. I think we have a lot of good players that can play in this system. So I think it has worked for us, and I would say that was a bit of a change from the previous spell when we struggled. The Premier League is always very unpredictable. We've had games this season when I thought I'll have a lot more to do. Like, for example, a game against Leicester away, and suddenly I had no shots on target in that game. So you kind of have to be prepared for anything. You're always preparing for the worst, that you're gonna be really busy, but then on the other hand you have to just be focused for the 90 minutes and then just make sure that you do all your bits in a good way, in the right way.
There we go, that was our 2019 Hammer of the Year, Lukasz Fabianski. How did you two not win Hammer of the Year? It's an absolute travesty of justice.
I know what I didn't win it.
I know I didn't.
You must have come close.
I was never good enough, but Cody will probably tell you he was good enough.
I wasn't good enough. No, I was good enough, but sometimes when you got like Scott Parker in your team and you got some fan favourites in your team, then
I was a bit patchy with my form. I think I'd have 7 good games.
Yeah, I was the same
3
as
bad
well.
ones, so I didn't do it for a whole season.
You just need to turn it on around May and you'll get in there.
But the thing about it, if you add all those years up, you kind of think, why didn't you get it? But it's like it just doesn't.
You had 38 good games over the course of your career that could have contributed to a Hammer of the Year award.
Yeah, I had 10.
10 tops.
10.
But Fabianski, James, I mean, he's been a big difference for us the last couple of years, hasn't he?
He's been huge. I think he's been one of the signings that we've made in the last few years. I think since he came in, he's been spot on. He's kept us in games, won us games sometimes on his own, and me speaking as a centre half, when you've got a goalkeeper like that behind you, it just gives the boys in front of you more confidence, and I think it's really a good sign of why we've been defending so well in the last couple of games. That confidence of the man behind you. If you do make a mistake, he's going to make a save, and he does that time and time again.
Thank you, chaps. Well, Monday marks 1 year since David Martin's heroics at Stamford Bridge. Here's a clip of Aaron Cresswell and David Martin sitting down to reflect on that magnificent afternoon.
Go! Come on! But for 5 days, I knew the build-up was getting, every day it was getting closer. I could feel my tummy, literally doing somersaults every day.
So when did the gaffer actually pull you and say, Dave, or was it Xavi, the goalkeeping coach?
No, it was the gaffer. I don't think he knew my name at that stage, to be fair. But it was on the Thursday, he said, I was walking out to the car park and I just said, David, like that, and I turned around and it was him. And he went, I'm not saying I'm going to play you on Saturday, but if I am, are you ready? And I was just like, yeah. thinking, am I really ready? Like, mate, going into that game, I'm like, I knew about
Dave, I remember, obviously Dave's played loads of games, you know what I mean? And it was like, because I sat next to you, didn't I? In the thing, and I remember looking at you and you were just so focused, so like, when normally, Dave, when you're not playing, you're very vocal, very, do you know what I mean? You're unbelievable around the place, getting the lads going, whatever. And I remember thinking, he's really, really zoned into the game here. Yeah, there we go, love it.
Well, he's waited a long time to play in the Premier League, David Martin. 10 clubs, a free transfer from Millwall, and he follows his dad Alvin, who played 596 games for the Hammers. David makes his debut after Roberto.
Aaron Cresswell there scoring the winner at Stamford Bridge, and our next guest knows all about scoring against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Quite simply, one of the most iconic West Ham players of the Premier League era. Welcome to the studio again, James. As a player, I always thought you were super serious. Just been smiling today in the studio with us today. But when I think about James Collins playing football for West Ham, super serious. We saw you even scoring some goals there. Very intense look on your face. Did you play super serious and intense?
Yeah, I was able to do a job, I suppose. I was concentrating. I had a little laugh now and then, but I was.
But after a goal, you was like angry. Was that angry?
Yeah,
man?
I think I was more surprised than anything. Just couldn't believe I'd actually scored. But this time for a laugh and a joke. I was 90% of the time serious.
I see, like, because Seb Haller, he's like. I see people on Twitter saying he needs to crack a smile when he scores, but I just think this is persona. Like remember when Bobby Zamora used to score? He used to get really angry.
I could only put mine down to surprise. Actually, not knowing what to do. Jeez, people are going to be looking at me. Yeah.
The only man more serious than you in that West Ham team you played with, probably Winston Reid. Two of you, like, these two are not having a good time out there. Like,
I think we always used to look like we was the hard men and the centre backs and serious and intense. But we like to joke now.
You signed for West Ham in July 2005 in a double signing with your teammate Danny Gabardon. How does a double signing work? I don't think West Ham have ever done a double signing.
I don't think
centre backs as well.
Centre backs.
It all came from we played for Cardiff against West Ham at the old Ninian Park, Cardiff's old ground, the season before in the Championship, and we beat them 4-1 at Ninian Park. And Gabs was unbelievable that night. I did all right next to him, and there was whispers that it was going to happen, and then a new manager came into Cardiff and it didn't, and then I think Pard stumped up about 5-0 for the pair of us in the end, and nothing came. It won't happen again. You'll never see it.
Yeah, it's either one or the other, isn't it?
Yeah.
Were you talking to each other, going like, we're double bid?
Double bid.
Like looking back, it was like a mad time. We couldn't really believe, because we got told at Cardiff we weren't leaving, so we were concentrating on pre-season there, and then this bid came, and I remember driving around the M25 with Gabs towards Waltham Abbey, just thinking, is this really? He's my best mate as well. You know what I mean? Going into the Premier League, we couldn't believe it. We were sort of pinching ourselves driving up, but then I say Gabs went on that season, and I think he won Ham of the Year the first year. And I sort of struggled a little bit, and he was, looking back, it was unbelievable time.
Yeah, like sharing a cab and they're like getting a car up there. So do you have a joint medical and stuff like that?
Yeah, all the same. We had the same agent. Cyril Regis was mine and Gabs' agent at the time. Cyril was my agent for a long time. Yeah, so it was all sort of done together, medicals together. We met the manager and Peter Grant at the time together at the same time. Had the same sort of chats, and it was like being with my wife. Just sat there. We stayed in the hotel, stayed in the Marriott at Waltham Abbey for about 4 or 5 months together while we were looking for a house.
That's amazing.
Like I said, I doubt that'll ever happen again.
Amazing.
I mean, your first spell, you lived through so much. The semi-final of the FA Cup against Middlesbrough you played, and of course the great escape of 2007. What from the first spell was your highlight?
I think it's got to be the FA Cup final. I would have thought. For good memories. In a weird sort of way, I get asked this quite a lot. I loved the game. I loved 2007.
Yeah.
When we stayed up, I think that's probably where I played my best 10 games. I think the last 10 games of that season was probably the best I'd ever played.
You played every single one of those games.
Yeah. Like Carlos gets all the gets all the credit for the goals. I think we kept 5 or 6 clean sheets in those last 9 games. Not just me, but I was excellent. But Greeny was unbelievable. All the back four
Bobby
played at that time.
Zamora.
Bobby scored some important goals, but Carlos gets all the thing. But that sort of time, 2007, as much as it was pressure situation, it was obviously for the whole club, for people who were, could have lost their job if we went down. That sort of period was probably the most enjoyable and the time I played my best football.
But think about it though, we had a great squad.
Yeah.
That squad we had no business being down.
Lucas Neal that year who came in, who was skipper was brilliant. I played right centre half alongside Lucas, and he was magnificent. But like Cody says, we had it's easy to say why is that squad down there, but we didn't play well enough in the first part of the year, and then got it together in the end.
Yeah, I've heard about Lucas Neal that he really kind of got everyone together, and the social aspect of the team he just sorted out when he came in. Yeah,
he did. He got everyone together. I think looking back, we was having a lot of motivational sort of talks, videos being shown, best clips of every player, which sort of helped. And like I said, it was a strange time, but when I look back at now, thank God, very fondly.
Yeah, and Alan Kirbysley, I was looking at the games you played. It seemed that when Alan Kirbysley came in, you just were in the team every week after that point. He seemed to love you as a manager.
I think he could probably see what was happening. I think the confidence. I always played better in adversity. My best games were in games where we had to win, or certainly for Wales and West Ham, games where we had to keep a clean sheet, or we were hanging on to a 1-0 lead. He'll tell you, I was probably at my best then, and I think in that situation where the chips were down, I think Kerb saw something in me which he could rely on. And I remember going to Arsenal. I think we won 1-0. Bobby scored a worldie that day, but they had 38 shots on goal. Or 38 attempts, and we won 1-0.
There was like a force field over our goal.
It was just one of that. We could still be playing now.
It was crazy.
It was one of those sort of siege mentality, and that's what we had in the squad in those last couple of games. And I think Kerb sees something in me then that he liked.
Then 2008, Icelandic banking crash comes to the door of James Collins. You went off to Aston Villa, but was it the case? Did you want to change at that point, or was it the case like you've got to go?
No, it was. I had to go. I certainly didn't want to go. I'd spoke to Stoke the week before. I'd gone up and spoke to Tony Pulis. I was up there chatting to them, and it didn't seem right. It was still in my back of my head that I didn't want to leave West Ham. So sort of turned that down, or it didn't work out up at Stoke, and then came back down and thought I got away with it, that I didn't have to leave. And then Aston Villa came in. Martin O'Neill, that sort of bid came in, and as much as I didn't want to go, it became apparent that the club was financially struggling a little bit. So went up to Aston Villa. In the end, it was for my own career, and put the disappointment about leaving aside for my own career. That first year I had at Aston Villa under Martin O'Neill was one of the most successful season of my career.
Yeah, and then 2012, the call comes. Did you jump at the chance? Were you really excited about coming back?
I think I was in Chicago at the time, and Nobes phoned me, and I said, Nobes, I'm just about to swim home now, just because I know I wanted to get back that much. But Nobes was a massive part of that deal.
Agent Nobes.
Yeah, it was. I sort of fallen out a little bit with Paul Lambert up at Aston Villa, and it was quite apparent that they wanted rid of me at the time. A few bits had gone on, and Nobes gave me a call and said, Big Sam's been asking about you. Would you fancy coming back? And like I said, I jumped at the chance and flew straight back and signed a couple of days later.
And you came straight back into the team. And I was looking at your first season back. The 2-2 draw in the FA Cup, Joe Cole's second debut. You scored twice. You only scored 6 goals, wasn't it, in your West Ham career, 2 on the same night? I mean, wow.
Yeah, that was a bizarre night. Yeah, like you say, scoring one's a surprise for me, but to get 2. But I think I'm sure Coley set up both goals, and his delivery.
Yeah.
We all know Joey Cole. His delivery was brilliant, but they were two pretty good headers, to be fair.
Brilliant headers.
Yeah, not bad. So, what would you say your all-time favourite West Ham game is? And you've got so many to choose from.
Game is in where I've played well, or one I've enjoyed playing in the most.
But can you have both?
The best game I think I played individually for West Ham was at Anfield. We played against Liverpool when Suarez was absolutely on fire, and it was just one of those days. I think we drew 0-0 in the end. It was one of those days I decided early that I'm just going to go and press Suarez every time he gets it, not give him a chance to run at me. And I think I probably went in, 90% of the times I went in, probably because he was scared of me by the time I was nibbling at his ankles and that. But that was probably my best game I played for West Ham. But the one I enjoyed the most and was Old Trafford 2007. Again, last game of the season.
Wow.
again, probably for all the wrong reasons. Like you say, the chips were down, and it was pretty much a must win. But the feeling of after that game and the way I played and the way we played as a team and what we had achieved, I think that game stands out more than the cup final for me.
Yeah, because that game it wasn't a great game during the game, because when you're in it, like obviously when you're playing, tension. You're nervous, there's tension.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mad one because we were hearing shouts from the crowds. We weren't sure what was happening in the Wigan Sheffield United game. We sort of didn't know where we were, and we were 1-0 up.
Yeah.
And I was blowing at the time. We got to about 65, 70 minutes, and we'd been under the cosh, so I was pretty tired at the time. I looked across, and Man United made a triple sub.
Yeah.
I think they brought Ronaldo.
Yeah, they brought the big lads.
Four goals, triple sub.
But we brought on Marlon Harewood as well. During that same substitution.
Yeah. I'm not sure it had the same effect for us as their sub did for them. But I remember looking across to Anton, I think, and just going, geez, this is going to be a long 25, 30 minutes. But then again, going back to me saying, I think when the chips were down and that sort of game, he sort of got a sort of second wind and hung on for the 1-0. But yeah, certainly the most memorable game for me would be that one.
What was after the game like at Old Trafford? What was the dressing room like?
Oh, mate.
Can you remember this? Can you remember they'd won the league? Man United had won, and obviously I was playing at Wales with Ryan Giggs. So they had bottles of champagne with said champions on. So I went up to Giggsy and went, Giggsy, we've just stayed up. Any chance I can, nick a bottle of champagne? Yeah. So I remember being sat in the away dressing room, just stayed up by the skin of our teeth, with a bottle of champion champagne.
Unbelievable.
It felt like that though, didn't it?
Yeah.
It
felt like we won the league.
But the way we were playing at the end, we could have won the league. We would have carried on like that all season.
I think I stayed out for about 2 days in my tracksuit after that.
with the bottle.
Yeah,
couldn't finish it on the night.
Bottle,
I mean, throughout your West Ham career, it was often teams with such great team spirit. We touched on it there. I wondered, we're coming up to Christmas. What was the best Christmas party you lived through?
One I paid for, probably.
You ended up paying for most of them because you used to get fined the most.
Yeah, you used to get fined a lot, right?
Yeah, let's not talk about it. Yeah, I'm trying to move on from it.
Try and forget those stuff.
I'm trying to move on.
God.
No, but yeah, our team morale was like when you got certain people in the change rooms, like certain characters, like it would be hard not to have a good time. Do you know what I mean?
We had such a mix of characters, some lively, but some a bit more quiet, and not just the Christmas party. The whole time was, most of the teams at West Ham I played in, we always had a massive, an unbelievable team spirit, which made it enjoyable, and it made you probably work a bit harder for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Scored quite a few goals. What would you say was your best one? One of those ones at Stamford Bridge? Or was it Portsmouth? Is it Portsmouth you scored?
Portsmouth I scored on Boxing Day. The best one, I think, is probably it's got to be the second header against Man United in the FA Cup that night.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Like quite a long way out. Yeah. Like I said, if I had hair, it wouldn't have gone that way, but it skimmed off my head. But then the left foot half volley at Stamford Bridge as well was a good goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't pick between those two.
But it seemed like whenever you always obviously used to cover corners, but it felt like the ball used to drop for you an awful lot.
Do you know what I used to call him? What? I used to call him Magnet Head.
Look, I was desired to
I've got a football repellent head. Yeah, Never. It always misses me out, but it always finds his head. I'm thinking, do you know what? How are you at the right place at the right time to put your bounce on it? I don't get it.
What is in from corners in that?
Yeah.
I remember we've all done it. You used to have managers say, "Run there, run here, make this run," and 90% of the time you're making the run and the ball's not coming anywhere near you. So I used to try and hold my run a little bit, probably going against the manager's sort of thing, but hold my run and just watch the ball and attack the ball rather than attack a space.
I was attacking the space. That's why I went wrong with my commit.
That's why we kept missing you out.
You used me as a decoy. And I didn't even know it.
Was Polo just a lie, just to get you in?
Get him out of the way.
Ginge,
everyone go to the Polo.
I love asking this question of ex-West Ham players. Who would you think was the most underrated teammate you played with? Who didn't get the credit they deserve?
Cool. It's been a lot thinking about it.
Well, we have had some underwhelming players.
a lot. I would say Nobes, because I think Nobes for me should have played England.
Yeah.
A lot of times. You know, I've said it in all the time. Yeah, he is appreciated, and you know, certainly by me, I put him down as probably one of the best players I played with at West Ham. But for Nobes not to have played for England, I think he's got to be sort of underestimated a little bit, if you want, because I think he's been world class for years.
Yeah. And then, so lastly, before we get on to some questions from Twitter, who would you say was the best player you played with in terms of just skill and unreal ability? And you know, I know you played with a certain Frenchman.
Yeah.
So give you a short list.
I don't
Teddy.
Do you know who I'd say? I love playing with Payet. You know, obviously what went on. You know, it might not go down too well, but he was phenomenal. Yeah. What he was doing in games was unbelievable. Yossi Benayoun.
I was about to say him.
Yossi Benayoun, incredible football player. Yeah. But someone that you might not think I'd say, Ravel Morrison. What he used to, I know he didn't play a lot.
Training,
we didn't see
how good he really was.
What we all knew he had, we didn't see, but what he was doing to players in training on a regular basis
ridiculous.
Was
embarrassing.
Was illegal.
It was illegal. It was illegal.
You'd get locked up for some of the stuff he'd do. The way he could nutmeg you, he'd go round you, and he'd laugh at you.
Yeah, and the thing about it would fit like. Imagine him. He's raging. He's a raging bull in training, but he still will find a way to make him.
Really? Yeah. I remember Matty Everton came back under Big Sam, and just to train, because he didn't have a club at the time, and he came back, and Sam gave him a chance to train. It didn't work out, but I remember driving home. Obviously, I'm so close with Matty, and he phoned me up on the way home and went, "I think I've just witnessed one of the technically best players I've ever seen, as in Ravel. He hadn't seen him before." Yeah. He said, "What? Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do what he can do. Obviously, it didn't turn it. You get players like that who are unbelievable in training and they can't do it in games. But Ravel was
capable of doing it in games, but he just needed to get to the game. Yeah, he needed to get to the game.
Yeah. Exactly that. But Dimitri, Yossi, you could go on, Teddy, you know, but the list is endless. To name one, I think I'd be lucky enough to play with some amazing players. Find it hard to say one.
Yeah, great answer. Well, look, we've asked Twitter for some questions. So we've got these questions from West Ham fans. Let's have a look. Great, here we go. First question, this from Milane. Who's your favourite centre-back partner that you have played with at the club?
I've got to say Danny Gabardon.
Of course.
I think don't think he'd speak to me for too long if I didn't say.
We speak to each other every day.
Yeah, like I said, we've been mates since we were kids. Both from Newport. And lucky enough to play in the same team, play international together. Like I say, got the move to West Ham together, and again, Gabs going back, you know, one of the most underrated.
Yeah,
I thought he was world class centre back. But again, lucky enough to play with Winston, James Tompkins, you know. All the boys who I've played with in recent years were great defenders, but I'd have to say Danny Gabardon.
Of course. Such a beautiful and enduring love story.
Yeah, Danny was actually a really, really great player for me.
Yeah.
He had everything. Left foot, right foot, ping it, quick, strong, read the game.
Read the game, I thought. He really...
I think that's why we complement each other so well, because we spoke about this a lot. I sort of did the things that he didn't like to do, but I was better at heading the ball and being a bit more aggressive. Whereas Dan was quicker, he could read the game a little bit better than me. So I think that's why we probably complement each other as well as we did.
Okay, next question from Elliot and Wright. What was your favourite memory in a West Ham shirt?
Like I spoke about this too, probably the FA Cup fight, even though I didn't play when I thought I probably should have played. But again, strangely, I think it's 2007. It's the Old Trafford. It's not big, like I say, the circumstances were a bit, just staying up from relegation, but what it meant to everyone at the club, what it meant to all the boys' careers, what it meant to people who, like I said, may have lost their job, just to go there and do that and beat the champions on that day. It still stands out now. I still get goosebumps thinking about that day now. And like you say, it's probably a strange answer because it was. We looked like we might have got relegated, but it stands out a mile for me.
Yeah, as a fan, I think I totally agree. It stands out such a great day. Next up, Elliot WHU. Best memory of West Ham fans, and you know they used to sing your name week after week, especially away from home. Is there one thing that sticks out for you in terms of your relationship with West Ham fans?
There's low every game. The fans were unbelievable to me. From the minute I joined to the minute I left, every game, whether I played good, whether I wasn't so good, which was quite often, they were unbelievable. But I think the season I left, I wasn't in the squad. I think I was injured, but I went up to Leicester to watch the boys, and I think Nobe scored that worldie, the volley, and I was leaving. That it looked like there wasn't going to be a contract, and I was out on the pitch at the end, and they were singing "Sign him up, Ginge Pele," like the whole stand. And if I could have stayed there for forever, I would have done. It was probably the most emotional I've been. Looking at fans and really appreciating what they were doing for me. But that Leicester away when I wasn't in the squad and I was just up there was unbelievable.
And off the pitch, how much? You must get West Ham fans coming up to you all the time. It's rare for in the Premier League era now to have 9 years at a club like you did.
11,
what was it? 11
yeah. altogether. 11 altogether.
Accidentally knocked a couple of years.
Yeah.
But what's it like going around in the Essex area? Are you constantly getting? It must be amazing.
Yeah, it's still bizarre to me. I love it. The minute I walked into West Ham, I became a fan of the football club. Not just because I was a player there. I just enjoyed everything about it. It seemed like a perfect match for me. I've said it all the time. As the seasons went on, I was a fan, and I became a fan playing for West Ham. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I sort of got such a good relationship with it. I was still down to earth, still a normal lad that turned up from Newport in South Wales, and I think that's what the West Ham fans sort of liked. A bit old school, put a tackle in and work hard. I was never the best player that played for West Ham, but every time I played, I gave my all, and I think that's what they liked.
Right, another tweet.
All right.
Okay.
God, I don't know. Well,
Here we go. Next question. This is from Barney Hula Hoops.
That was in someone's pub in the kitchen.
Ginge, do you remember me from Nando's Loughton? You walked into the staff room after my colleague said I was a hammer and had a picture taken with me. Look at that in the kitchen.
I don't look overly
In the
impressed
Nando's kitchen. In the Nando's kitchen.
Do you remember
that? Is unfortunately I don't.
How many times you been in
I
a
should
Nando's
remember it
kitchen?
because that hat is awful.
Nando's kitchen. You must remember a Nando's kitchen. I would love to be in a Nando's kitchen.
Do you know?
I didn't know they had a kitchen. I thought they cooked it on the grill and not at the till.
I can't.
They got a kitchen. I don't know.
No, unfortunately, no.
Yes.
It's not. It doesn't look that too long ago. To be fair, my beard's a bit shorter, but again, I think that's why the West Ham. I had such a good relationship. I still find it a bit weird and a bit surreal that people were asking me to have my photo taken. So when I did, it sort of go out of your way or whatever you was doing to make people smile. Yeah, and that's what I try to do.
Ginge, I'm so excited about this. It's time to end on our game of word association. So what I've done is pulled out a few characters, players, managers who you would have shared a dressing room with through the course of your West Ham career.
There we go.
What I'm going to do is just say their name. I'm looking for a single word or a couple of words from you that describes that individual.
Hey.
Try and keep it clean. It is a family show.
I could struggle.
You were here a long time, so this is the interesting list of names I've pulled together here.
Wow.
I'll start you off nice and easy. Danny Gabardon.
Legend.
Thomas Repka.
Nutter.
Anton Ferdinand.
Player.
Oh, yeah. Carlos Tevez.
Saviour.
Oh. Alan Pardew.
Gaffer.
Oh, decent.
Robert Green.
Stopper.
All right.
Alan Kirbishley.
Faithful.
Faithful.
Okay.
The cogs turned there, didn't they? Here's another one. Big Sam.
The boss.
Oh. Kevin Nolan.
Skipper.
Andy Carroll.
Barnett.
But it's a great reply. I wanted to put this one down just because I was like, I have no idea what this guy's like. Jussi Jääskeläinen.
Odd.
Yeah.
Suppose he's was it Finnish goalkeeper? There's a few reasons there why he might be a bit odd. That's interesting. Joey O'Brien.
Gentleman.
Of course. Winston Reid.
Partner.
Joe Cole.
Baller.
Yeah.
Mo Diarmi.
Tackle.
Tackle. James Tompkins.
Beautiful man.
He is good looking. He is good looking, to be fair. Didn't Big Sam say he's too good looking to be a centre half? Didn't say that about you, though.
No, oddly.
Diafra
Goals?
Goals, yeah.
A couple.
Slaven Bilic.
Incredible man.
Yeah.
Dimitri Payet. You can say what you think. This is a safe space.
Snakes.
Yeah, I'm sure the fans will enjoy that. Manu Lanzini.
The Jewel.
The Jewel, yeah. Adrian. Or Adrian.
Adrian. Clumsy.
Clumsy.
Mikel Antonio.
Beast.
Beast, of course. Mark Noble.
Absolute legend of all legends.
And then probably toughest of all, lastly, Carlton Cole.
The big man.
The big man, that'll do. That'll do.
That was lovely.
Love it. Thank you. That's it for another episode of Inside Irons. Big thank you to the Ginge Pele, James Collins, for joining us. And James, can I say, you're a West Ham legend. I love all kinds of James Collins content. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think the relationship you have with West Ham fans is so special. And I know so many West Ham fans just love hearing you speak and love sharing your memories. So thank you for that.
No worries, it's a pleasure to be here, lads. Like I said, I haven't spoke too much since I left a couple of years back, but thanks for having me, really enjoyed it.
Thank you, James, for joining us. Fantastic stuff. And a big thank you too to Mystic Coley, who's predicted yet another West Ham victory. That'd be 4 in a row. You've got it right. He's predicted a 2-1 win against Aston Villa. Fingers crossed for that. And a big thank you to the Leytonstone Tavern for having us here in East London. Aston Villa, Monday night. We're 8th in the table. Can we climb higher? Fingers crossed. Come on, you Irons. Hello and welcome to Inside Irons.
Can you? I do not believe that.
Yeah, it was.
Can't keep it out. Winston Reid is the man.
I use it to scare my children with.
Taken away by Wicks. Lanzini! Oh, it's glorious!